Hello, and welcome to episode 24. I've got no show notes, so I'm going by the seat of my pants. I think it's episode 24. I should probably have checked that before I started, but there we go. Anyway, welcome to anybody new. This is what you get. My name is Lucy. I am your host of the Country Bumpkin Creates podcast. You can find me on Instagram as country_bumps or on Ravelry as Country Bumps. We do have a podcast group on the Ravelry where I will post show notes when I've done them. But I know it is causing issues for some people at the moment on Rav, so if you are having issues and would like any more information on anything that I talk about today, I'm going to try and be a bit more mindful of my editing and put comments below, or a thing down there that'll tell you what I'm talking about. Caption is the word I'm looking for. See, off to a good start already, aren't we? But it's been a little while since I podcast because I just haven't been in the right frame of mind, and if I'm not in the right frame of mind, then you won't get a good show. Not that you get a good show anyway, but oh, excuse the cleavage hanging out there. Gratuitous boob shots. Is that what we're here for? No, we're here for knitting. Actually, we're here for all sorts of crafting today. I've got knitting, I have cross stitch, I have sewing. Is that all I've got? Yes, I think so. And I do have some, I've opened an Etsy shop, so I do have some shameless self-promotion. Try saying that when you've had a tequila or two. But I will do that at the end, so if you're not interested, because I know people don't like to be sold to. So I'll do that at the end, and if you don't, I will say goodbyes and then do the shop stuff. So if you're not interested in that, then you won't miss anything. Does that make sense? It is hotter than a hot thing from Hotstown today. It's so humid. We had thunder and lightning yesterday, like all morning. It started at like 5 o'clock and it went through till like 1 and 2 in the afternoon, and then that went, and it just brought the humidity back with a bang. We've got a central heating room stat in the hallway, and that's showing 27.5 degrees inside at the moment. So I have got a fan going because I would be a sweaty, horrible mess if it wasn't fat lady, hot, perimenopause. You know where I'm coming from. So I've got a fan going, so I do apologise if you can hear that, but it's either that or just a blur would be happening now. So anyway, what have you been up to? For those of you, I have got some new subscribers, so thank you and welcome. Thank you to any returning viewers. As you will see, this show is no better for my absence. I've got quite a few FOs today. I've only got 2 whips. I'm a bit worried about this monogamous knitting lark. It's not good, is it? And as I said, I've got some cross stitch and I've got some hand sewing, English paper piecing to be exact. What's been happening? As some of you are aware, I live on a holiday park. When COVID hit us in March, we were forced to close. We got the go ahead from Boris and the government to open on July the 4th, and since then it's been mental. The phone has been ringing off the hook. I've been turning people away because we're not full, but we don't want to put too much pressure on our services and local services. So we're just being a bit mindful, but we do need to get some money in to see us over the winter. We are a seasonal business, so I am still furloughed from my job. I'm hoping I'll be made redundant. I know it's bad to say, but that's what I'm hoping. They've done without me for 5 months, so I can't see they'll want me back. Anyway, so I've been furloughed. So I've been knitting. I bought a circular sock machine off eBay. It's an antique Imperia sock machine, and the learning curve is steep. I've got it going. Thank you to the lovely Alex from Fab Funky Fibres, who spent 2 hours with me on a video chat going through everything. So I have it going. I just need to practice and get used to it and get the tension right and things like that. So it has been a big learning curve. So watch this space. There may be sock tubes in the future. I think that's what I'm going to concentrate on at first. It's just to get the tubes right before I even attempt heels and cuffs and toes, and because that just looks horrendous. I had a haircut finally after 6 months, nearly 6 months. Oh God, I've never been so grateful for a haircut in my whole life. I left it a couple of weeks after the salons opened, just so that they could get all their procedures in place properly and all that sort, and I like the rush to die down, because although I was pretty desperate, I was happy to wait for a little bit. I've got new spectacles, so I can see now, which is great. Hence the cross stitch and the hand sewn, because I can actually see what I'm doing. I have had to get varifocals because old. I had a lockdown birthday, which was boring, but hey ho, it's always next year. Double celebrations next year, because I don't have any celebrations this year. Yeah, that's about it really. What else? I'm starting the Etsy shop. That's been about it really. Sorry, I hit itchy leg. Yeah, so just same old. I'm still, although our lockdown is lifted and we are allowed out, thank goodness eventually they've brought in that masks are mandatory in shops and places like that. I'm still only going out for essentials. I go shopping once a week, if I can get away with going once a fortnight, then I do, because we get a veg box delivery every fortnight, a veg and fruit box, so that sort of sees us through. If I get stuff like stock the freezer up with other bits and pieces, then that sees us through really. And we get our milk delivered from a local farm. Yeah, so it's just trying to be sensible really, because it hasn't gone away. We're still having, there have been no reported hospital cases at my local hospital for 4 weeks I think, but with the amount of tourists that are around and things like that, and other places around the country are going into like local lockdowns, I don't think it's going to be long before we're back into a lockdown, to be honest, which is a bit of a shame, but this is not going away soon. I hope everybody is being safe and well, and I know a lot of places in the States, have you still got your shelter in place? I hope you have, and I hope that it's not as bad as what's being reported on the news about what's happening elsewhere around the country. I know Australia are having another issue with it, but anyway, we don't want to talk about that because it's not very nice, is it? But I just hope that you're all safe and well. So let's get on with the knitting. Shall we have a look at some FOs? I have 2 sweaters, and I'm about this far actually, away from a 3rd sweater. I was hoping to get it finished yesterday, but it was just too hot to knit until the evening, and then I didn't have enough time to get it done. But anyway, so hopefully that should be done by probably tomorrow, if it cools down a bit, that I can knit on it this evening. But we don't know. The weather's supposed to be changing tomorrow. It's supposed to be getting mucky again tomorrow. I apologise if you can hear ducks and things. I've got every window open and every door open, and the ducks are walking around. We've got some new ones. Oh, they just shout all day. They're so funny. They just moan. I don't know what they're moaning about, but it sounds like they're moaning anyway. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen that we had some babies this year as well. One of our Appleyards arrived April time, no, May time, something like that, with 10 babies behind her. We knew she was sitting somewhere because she was just turning up in the morning. We put them away to bed at night so fox doesn't get them, and we were hoping that, you know, she hadn't been had by the fox while she was sitting. So we don't know where she was sitting, but we knew she was somewhere because she kept turning up in the morning for her corn and then disappearing again and then just coming back the next morning. So we knew she was sitting somewhere, but we didn't know she was having such a large brood. Unfortunately, one didn't make it. When they have a large brood like that, there's an attrition rate, unfortunately. But they were put in to a separate pen away from the big ducks, and away from crows and things like that. We've got a lot of crows and rooks and stuff, and they'll easily take a baby duckling. So she was put into a pen on her own with them, and early last week they were big enough to eventually be let out with all the others. So they're out roaming around, free ranging during the day. Yeah, I'm going to bed with the big ones. If I can, I'll try and get an update picture and put it on my Instagram. But they were really cute. I don't know if I've got one on I think I've got some on my phone of when they were babies. It was quite difficult to get pictures of them. There we go. So that was them not long before they were going to be let out. It's quite difficult to get pictures of them because every time you went near them, they did a runner, as is, normal for ducks. So they wouldn't let us near them. So yeah. Anyway, it's been 12 minutes of random nattering. Let's get on with the show. So, first FOs we have are some socks. These were a tube that I knit. I had a 50-gram skein of this. Excuse me. Sorry if that blew your ears out then. 50-gram skein of this yarn, which is CMYK from Fab Funky Fibres. So I'll show you all four so you can see what the colour progression was. I ran out for the fourth sock, but I managed to get two pairs of shorty socks out of one 50-gram skein with contrast. This is this green is just a random green I found in my mini stash, and this pink is a Coop Knits from her neon range. So this pair is for me, so I've got the ones that I didn't have quite enough of, so I just found a random blue, and then I put in Afterthought heels. So I did them as Afterthought everything. So I started one with a cuff at one end, which was this green. So that's where I started. No, it's not. I just started with pink. Anyway, because that looks like maybe that one was the one I started with. Yeah, that's the one I started with there. And then I knit the whole 50 grams, put a toe on the end, then worked out how much I needed for each sock. These are 60 stitch socks, so this pair is for me and this pair is for my sister. She can have them now off podcast. So I've done green cuff, pink heel and toe. I've done a pink cuff and a green heel and toe. So, because they're not going to match anyway because of the way I've knit them. So, yeah. And then these are another pair from my sister, just some shorty socks. This yarn is Grundle Hot Socks. I did the Rose City rollers, so I did 64 stitches for some reason. I think it's going to be too big for a foot, but if they're too wide for a foot, if they are, then I'll have them. But this is a merino cashmere, wool cashmere nylon blend, so it is 75% wool, 20% cashmere, no, 20% nylon and 5% cashmere. But they feel like they've got more than 5 for a commercial yarn. Yeah, and I got it from Suffolk Socks, which I'll link to in the show notes. I made the cuffs a bit longer than normal, so I had to order a second ball, literally, to do the toe on the second sock, which was a bit annoying, but so I'll have enough with contrast cuffs, heels and toes. I'll have enough to do another pair with what's left over, because there's like, they come in a 50-gram ball and there's like 45 grams left, so there's plenty there for another pair for her. And if I'd done 60 stitches, and a shorter cuff, I probably would have got away with it, but there we go. You live and learn. So the next FO is the Love Note sweater by Tin Can Knits. So it's coming up quite a bit lighter. The yarn is quite a lot darker. It's like a dark purple. Oh, there we go. So it's that sort of colour. And it's got this beautiful lace detail on the yoke. I love and the sleeve, so it goes down onto the sleeve. Quite sort of balloon sleeves. I knit this in John Arbon, not Viola. I'll put it down here because I can't remember what it was. It wasn't Harvest Hues. Oh, bum. I can't remember. Honestly, can't remember what it was. John Arbon. Anyway, it's a Falklands. I'm going to have to look it up because it's going to annoy me. I'll just check on my Ravelry project page. So, I knit this to pattern, including, because you do a provisional cast on for the neck, then knit the body, and then come back and knit, pick up the stitches, do some decreases, and then do a ribbed collar. All well and good. Worked, tried it on before I blocked it, and went over my head, no problem. Blocked it, couldn't get the thing over my head. How random's that? Normally it grows when it blocks, but obviously something happened to this that it didn't. So it was a bit tight before I blocked it. It would go over my head, but it was like I couldn't put it over my head with my glasses on, put it that way. So unpicked it, unpicked the bound off with a larger needle. Still didn't look right, feel right, or anything. So I went back and looked at people's project pages for the sweater, and a lot of people had the same issue, that they couldn't get it over their head. So I remembered from Grocery Girls, Tracy had knit one, and she said she did on her second one. The first one she did with the normal bind off, the rib and normal bind off, and then the second one she did I-cord bind off after she'd done the city limits. pattern. So she knit the City Limits sweater, because that's what you do for that, which you will see in a second. So that's what I did. I unpicked it all back to, so I pulled out the rib. I put in a lifeline just before the rib, like an afterthought lifeline. I then ripped it all out and did a I-cord bind off, and it sits really well. It fits nice. I can get it over my head. And I did the sleeves. I had to unpick the bind off on that as well, because as you can see I've got quite fat arms all the way down. So and I went up 2 needle sizes to do the bind off on the sleeves. So yeah, quite happy. I love it. It's very nice. It's just a bit, I would try it on, but it's too hot. I'm sorry. I will see later. I will try and get some, when Nigel finishes work, I will see if I can get an FO picture, because I haven't done any FO pictures in it yet either. I'll put it on quickly. You can take a couple of photos, and I'll insert a photo of what it looks like on. So I knit it in John Robin Textiles Devonia DK. That was what I was trying to think of. And it's 50% Exmoor Horn, 30% BFL, 20% Wensleydale. Wensleydale? Womit? Wallace and Gromit Fells? Not even Wensleydale. So it's toothy, but it's not, because when I first got it I thought, oh, it's going to itch like a bugger. But it doesn't. What I did, I washed my swatch as I would just in some soak. I then stuck it in my brassiere for a day, and I didn't even realise it was there. So I knew that I was going to be okay with it as a sweater. So, because the original pattern is a fingering plus mohair, and I like mohair, but I don't want a sweater in it because it'll just be too hot for me, I think. So that's the Love Note. And it knit up so quickly. I think I knit it in like less than 2 weeks. So yeah, Love Note. So I'm gonna have a nice new sweater wardrobe, because I've done my hoodie so once this other one's finished, I'll have had 4 sweaters in lockdown, because I finished my hoodie shawl cardigan, which I showed on the last episode. So next sweater is the City Limits sweater. I adore this sweater. Right, I think that's the right way around. So this is the City Limits sweater by Tanis Gray, who is Tanis Fibre Arts, and it is a mild sweater that you wear. You knit the right way around, obviously. You knit it stockinette, but it is reversible, so you can wear it either reverse stockinette. But when you're knitting it, you do these purl ridges. Except I didn't purl those two there. Look, that go all the way down. So it's so the raglan increases. So that's where you start them, and then they continue down. So you do 2 rows of it down the body as well. So what I'll do, I'll turn it the other way around, because you can see the colours better, and then I'll go through what colours they were. I knit, what size did I knit? Because I just want to warn you about, if you knit a larger size, you will need, it's my fault for not doing show notes. I should have done show notes, and then I wouldn't have had all this to-ing and fro-ing. I do apologise. So I knit the 52.5 inch, and I did a 5.5mm needle, because I did swatch, and it was 18 stitches to 4 inches, and I got 19. So I did go down a size, and I'm very happy with that, because it did block it did grow quite a bit in blocking. So again, you do. I'm sure you start with a provision. No, you don't. Just no, it's not provisional. I don't think it's provisional. Anyway, it's a paid for pattern. So this is this first colour is an Olan, one of a kind. I got this on a D-stash. I got a 3 skein fade on a D-stash. So this is an Olan, and then so that's 2 strands held together. Then you drop 1 strand and introduce your second colour. If I show it this way around, because you can see the colours better. So on this second, so the second colour, which is 2 strands of it here, is a winter sky. I think it's winter sky. Under an English sky, sorry. Yarn. That's the yarn dyer, Under an English Sky, and it's the Winter's Blush colourway. And then this one is Lay Family Yarn, Mrs. Claus's Cheeky Prosecco. So this one, the Under an English Sky, was a high twist 80/20, so it only came in a 360 metre skein. I ran out quite early, because what you do is so you mull your first and second, then you do 2 strands of the same colour, and then you do 2 and 3, or as you go down. So you do end up using quite a lot of yarn, so I had to order a second skein of that. And then, because obviously this is now the largest part of your sweater, because you're increasing and it's the sleeve cap, so the Mrs. Claus Cheeky Prosecco, I used a complete skein, and luckily I had a 20 gram mini skein that I used then to carry on. So what I needed, and for the sleeve, because that was the colour I picked up after once I took the sleeve stitches off and carried on with the body. So if you are knitting a larger size, just be careful of your yardage. You may that second and third colour where you're going across your boobage, and I had like over 400 stitches on the needles at one point, so you are using quite a bit of yardage. I then went into the 5th colour, which is Nora George Yarns Bellatrix Lestrange. It was a Harry Potter Club colourway, but I think I've seen it in her shop since then. And then this 6th colour is, I used 6 colours, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I used 6 colours. So again, if you're only using 5, you will need more. So this is another Olan, and it is Merlin. Colourway is Merlin, and then the bottom, it's really blowing out, but it's such a beautiful colour, is a Ted Knits in his Cauldron colourway. Cauldron, like witches use. I got this at Unravel, so I bought this, and as I was at another stand, and his stand was a bit way over the other side of the room that we were in, and this just caught my eye. I was like, oh my goodness, and I was just like drawn to it, so I knew I had to use it. Sleeves, I ended up I got Nigel to measure my arm. Well, I must think I'm like an orangutan. It was like 17 inches. I was like, no, that really doesn't seem right. My arm is not 17 inches. I know that from knitting other sweaters. I was like, no, we'll go with it, He's an intelligent person. We'll go with what he says. Well, I knit the sleeve. I was knitting it. I thought, this is really long. Tried it on. It was down past the end of my hands. So I had to rip back, and I think I took 3 inches off. So the marlin isn't quite right on the end of the sleeves. So I literally just used the cauldron to do the I-cord bind off. And so you do an I-cord bind off all on the bottom, on the sleeves and on the neck, and it just finishes it really nicely, I think. So you can wear it the other way around, and then those pearl, it just looks like a seam of reverse stockinette. Excuse me. I had a peach after my lunch. It was repeating on me. So yeah, so it's going to be when it blocked, it grew quite a bit, so it's going to be a really cozy winter sweater, that one. And it's great for using up those single skeins of yarn, just marling everything. Right, next defo is my litmus cowl. I think I've sewn it wrong, so it goes a bit Mobius, but I don't know how I did that, because you do a provisional cast on and then, but once it does go double around my neck. So I used Mr. B's yarn mini set in the Berry Autumnal, and they've got them coming in their shop update tomorrow. Today is Tuesday, is it Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday the 11th of August. So tomorrow in their shop update. Yeah. Sorry, I had a real mental block then. I thought I've arranged a meeting for the 14th on Thursday, but no, it's not. It's the 13th on Thursday. I don't know what month, day, week, whatever it is at the moment. So these are the Berry Autumnal, so you get 6 in a pack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then this is just a John Arban knit by numbers. I'll put it down the bottom as what number I used. It's like a mushroom taupey grey colour, but it just really sets the minis off. So I managed to get four repeats out of one mini skein set, and I did have leftovers. I don't think I'd have had enough to do 5 repeats with one mini. I did have two sets of the minis, but I just thought it was a shame to not waste it, but go into that second set just to do another repeat. So yeah, that's my litmus cowl. I just wanted to get stuff off my needles. This has been hanging around for, I know I started it before Christmas last year, so I just said to myself, if I can do 1 stripe a day throughout July, it'll be finished. So that's what I did. I tried to do at least 1 stripe a day. Some days I did 4, some days I just did the 1. So some days I didn't do any because I'd done 4 the day before. So but it was a nice mindless knit. Right, I think that's all FOs. Let me just, yeah, look at this. It's a basket of yarn. I'm gonna just take a quick pause, because if I do a video over 40 minutes, my iPad doesn't like to transfer it over to my computer, and we're at 34 minutes. So I'm just going to pause you, and then I'll restart another video, and then we'll do whipsies. Okay, see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. Guess who's back? Back in town. Lower lot, because I didn't. Yes, I did. Oh my god. Thought I'd forgotten my one and only main whip then, but it is on the floor. If I had half a brain these days, it'd be dangerous, I tell you. Anyway, so my main whip at the moment is the Boxy Chevron. Sorry about the tea stains all over the pattern. So this is the pattern. So it is a boxy sweater. It is by Suzanne Summer, who is So Sue Knits on Instagram, and I think that's what she goes with on Ravelry as well. So as you can see, it's got these chevrons on the sleeve. So there's two options. You can do a straight sleeve or you can do a diagonal sleeve. It's very clever because you knit the sleeves first and then, sorry, the fan's blowing everything around, and then you pick up around the body, around the, so you seam however long you want the sleeve. Well, you work out how many stitches you need to pick up, then you do a little bit of seaming, and then you pick up, and then you just knit down. And it's got a diagonal trying to get a, I think that's the only picture of the try not to give away another pattern. So it's got a diagonal hem on it, so you can see here these go diagonal, which is the bit I'm on now. It's a bit of a ball ache to knit, I must admit, but I'm getting very good at counting to 4. So let's show you what we've got going on. Right, where's front? Centre front is there, right. Okay, so here is mine. I wanted quite a low contrast version. I do like the yarn that she's knit, but it's hedgehog fibres, and there's no way I'm buying a sweater's quantity of hedgehog fibres to go around my fat body. So anyway, I had a sweater quantity of this lovely yarn here. If I hold it up you can see it better. This is Jelly Bean Yarns, and it's Ron's Christmas jumper. So it's like a maroony colour, variegated. And then what I've used as my contrast is I think it's a Madeline Tosh. Let me get the tag. So this is the Jelly Bean Yarns in Ron's Christmas jumper. I had 4 skeins. I have used 3 and I have just started the 4th skein. So that's my contrast yarn. Yes, it is. It's a Madeline Tosh. So it's Tosh Sock, which is 100% superwash merino, and it's in the Heartbeat colourway. So I wanted quite a I was going to use some yarn that I'll show you in a second that I've repurposed from another garment that I've ripped out, but I couldn't get I had the yarn and a contrast that I wanted to use in my head and thought it would look beautiful, and then I found another one and I was like, oh, that might work with it as well, so I swapped with them both and it really didn't go at all. So then but I really wanted the jumper, so I was like gutted. And then I remembered that I had this a sweater's quantity of this gorgeousness, and then I was like, I'm sure I've got a Madeline Tosh like ready maroony colour that will go with it to give it so like I said, you knit the sleeves, you knit the sleeves flat, which is good because you get sleeve island out of the way. So you knit the sleeves flat, and then so your chevrons get decidedly smaller as you go down. I did the straight sleeve. You can put on her, she with the black and white one, she put a pop of colour here, but I couldn't find anything that wouldn't look weird. so I just went with the contrast that I already had. So I've done the body. I tried it on Sunday, and it was about hip length, and it says in the schematic that the rib is about 3 inches or so. So I started the ribbing yesterday, so you can see it's a bit difficult, so you can see they are going sort of diagonally, I promise. I dropped my ball, sorry. So I've done one repeat of the border. I've now got to do another, like 2/3 of a repeat, and then bind off, and then just pick up and do the neck, and I'm done. I have another sweater done. So it's not like I've had to knit the whole body and then it's like, oh, I've got sleeves to do. So amazing. You do the sleeves first. It's a really clever construction, very clever construction, as is a lot of her stuff actually. There are 2 or 3 others that I've got my eye on that I fancy doing. This is the 3rd sweater pattern that I've done of hers. I did the Shashui Shrug, which is like a brioche garter shrug cardigan thing. I did the hoodie shawl cardigan, and now this is the boxy chevron, this is called. I just think her construction is very clever. Her patterns are brilliantly written. You've never got any like, oh, I'm not sure what that means. I sail through them. It's great. So my next whip is a sort of a whip and a partial FO. I'm doing the Nora George Harry Potter Blanket Club. We've had 3 months now. So I am doing a log cabin blanket. So I'm just doing log cabin squares, but honestly, you get 20 gram minis. I've got enough to do 1 square in my mitered square. So I got this lovely basket from Thimble and Thread, lovely Tracy, on her when she did the virtual Yorkshire Yarn Fest. So this is actually housing 2 blankets. So I've got all my minis. So I've got loads of minis and full skeins of yarn in there. I've added 2 squares to my mitered square blanket since you saw it last. So I am trying to do a mitered square blanket that is all Nora George, which, believe me, the amount of Nora George yarn I have is quite easy to do. So these are the last 2 months Harry Potter clubs. So you can see I've done. This is how much I've got left. So I've got plenty to do a square on my mitered square blanket. So on my mitered square blanket I'll do 48. Yeah, do 48 stitches, so do 24 each side. And I use where are the needles? They were in there. Yeah, they are. I use these little Knit Pro Novas, I think they are, in a 3.25mm, and I just find that rather than having to do like a magic loop, it just gets in the way, and I really don't enjoy doing mitered squared on magic loop, so I use those little short needles. So let's show you the 2 squares I've done so far. So this was, where are we, August, this was June's. So these were based on the teachers of school teachers. There we go. So with everyone comes this lovely little leaflet. So if we start here, we have Sybil Trelawney, Minerva McGonagall, Pomona Sprout, Hagrid and Snape. So that was the first month that came, and literally I have all of that left. I think I used less. I think this bit takes the most, and that's about 15 grams, so plenty left. And then you get, so the one that I get is 5 20-gram minis and a full 100-gram skein. So, and the 100-gram skein is always the same, which is the Grey Lady. So that was the first month, and then the second month we had All About Harry, I think they were, because July is Harry Potter's birthday. So we have James Potter, Harry's Patronus, Harry Potter, Happy Birthday Harry, and Lily Potter. This one I could have a sweater in quite easily. So this is the square. Look at the speckles in that one. Tracy is like the queen of speckle. So that was July's packet, and then this is as far as I've got with August at the moment. So August is all about Diagon Alley, I believe. Yes, Diagon Alley. So we have here Gringotts. This is a letter from Hogwarts, the Leaky Cauldron, Madame Malkins, who is the robe, I believe. I think Madame Malkins robe shop, and then this is Flourish and Blots, the bookstore. So I've used I'll show you the right side because that would help. So this was, again, the speckles are amazing. A letter from, no, this was Madame Malkins. Then this one was a letter from Hogwarts. And the third one is the Leaky Cauldron. So the fourth one I've just wound, which is Flourish and Blots. And then I have Gringotts left. And they take like no time to knit up because it's just garter. And I'm knitting them on a 3mm needle. So that's it for Whipsies. Who am I? Scary, isn't it? Whipsies used to be the main part of the show. In my Billy the Cat, because I have a cat called Billy, I am doing some cross stitch. So this, I used to be a mad cross stitcher. That's all I did when I first, or before I met Nigel. So I met Nigel in 2004. So I would imagine sort of from the late 90s, I was a cross stitcher, and that's all I did. So I have a lot of cross stitch stash as well. And I really fancied, when lockdown happened, I was like, oh, it'd be really nice to get back into cross stitching. But I should have had an eye test before lockdown, really. But I just didn't get round to getting one, and then lockdown happened and everything was shut, so I couldn't. So I managed to get an eye test at middle of July, I think. Where are we now? Yeah. And Nigel was desperate for an eye test as well, so we both got an eye test. So glasses. When did the glasses get so expensive? Anyway, so now I can see properly. I can cross stitch again. So I went back and I found this series, which is Little House Needleworks, and they're called the Little Sheep Virtue, and this is the 5th one in the set, which is the one I'm working on at the moment. So that's as far as I got, and I'm doing them on 30 count linen. Some are on linen, some are on even weave. This was like an auto ship program I got from the Patchwork Rabbit back. Well, they would have been when they first come out, so 2013. And I think I had one done, one or two, I think. So these are the other 4 that I've got done. So they've all got a little sheep. So this is Courage. So that was on even weave, but it's all 30 count. And then Peace. So the Peace was half done, so I finished that one. I've done the Courage one and halfway through the Faith one. So these 2 were done back in the day. So I have hope and love. So they're only small. They're literally, if I get the blurb out. And when I got the auto ship, I got because you can see they've got like this felt. So they're all done. They're all in the pictures. They're all finished as these little pillows. So I did buy. They came with the felt as part of the auto. Yeah, that was like an option on the auto ship. So they're done on 30 count. The stitch count is 61 by 61, so they're not very big at all. Finishes approximately 4 inches square. So, and I use 2 strands of floss over 2 threads, and there's 12 stitches in the 12 little pillows in the series. But since I bought them, we have moved the spare room around, and that's where everything's kept, and I can't find number 6 and 7 anywhere. I've looked in every box, everywhere that I can think of, unless they've been put in a box and put up in the attic or out in the shed. So what I might have to do, I've checked and the patterns are available, so I might just bite the bullet for the sake of a tenner and order the patterns, because it's going to hold me up else. And I've not bothered, like I've finished all the rest in like 3 or 4 days, but that one's taken me forever because I know that I'm going to be stalled at the next one. So yeah, it's a bit of a bum hug. Anyway, there we go. So that's my cross stitch. So in here, in my Mrs. Brown's bag, I have jumped on the new bandwagon that everybody seems to be jumping on, and I've started some English paper piecing. This seems to be like the in thing at the moment. So I went onto Etsy and purchased some pre-cut hexies. This is all Liberty fabric, so I have that one which I just showed you. So there's 7 of each hexie. So that one, that one, that one. Nice one's just falling on the floor. That one. Is that the same? Yeah. And that one. And a plain pink. So, sorry. And I purchased some pre-cut papers. But if you stay around for the shop information, you will see how I have used my noddle on this. So yeah, so I purchased those. So I just use I just hand baste. I know you can glue, and I don't go through the paper, so the fronts, so I just make sure the corners are like really secure down. So I'm going to use the pink as the centre for each of my flowers. Some of my hand stitching is atrocious, so don't look too closely, but for a first attempt I'm quite happy. I don't know what they'll become once I've done them all, but I'm finding it quite therapeutic. Yeah, so it's English paper piecing. Shall we talk stash enhancement? I've been quite good. I haven't bought loads during lockdown because I am trying to make an effort to use stash this year, and most of what I've bought, most of what I've bought, if I have bought anything, it has been for specific projects, possibly to go with other yarns that I have that I can use, or some of it I did buy some, like I got money for my birthday and things like that, so that's what I've used. But I wanted to talk to you about, I'm doing the Ted Knits, so this is his label, Ted Knits UK. I'm doing his mystery sock club, so it's once a month, and this is what we've had so far. So this was the first one in May. It's just beautiful. It's called Mint Ripple, and it is exactly like mint raspberry ripple ice cream. And they all, so you get a 25 gram skein of merino nylon, so 425 meters, and an 85 meter mini skein that matches. So that was May. This was June, and this is called Rhapsody. Look at it's just beautiful, the depth of colour that you get in these skeins are just amazing. His aesthetic is just like nothing I've ever seen before. And then this was May, June, July, so this was July's, and this is called Whiskey in the Jar, and it is like whiskey barrel, whiskey colour. It's just beautiful. So I'm very much looking forward to August when it arrives. On the Ted Knits, so like I mentioned, I've opened an Etsy shop selling various things, so stay tuned at the end if you are interested. If not, I totally understand. So with the sales that I've had so far, I went a bit mental. So Ted had a shop update. I apologise for the crinkling, but it literally arrived today, so I haven't taken it out of the plastic yet. So you are the first ones to see it. Oh no, I've dropped one. Hang on, I'll be back. I don't want to flash my bosom that everyone. Okay, we're back. So he did an update on Friday, I believe it was. I think it was Friday. Yeah, Friday. And he was tempting on Instagram, put all these fade kits up, and I couldn't resist. So I got beautiful fade. So it's a 4 skein fade, so I will make a sweater of it. I don't know what yet. I'm thinking, what can I don't know. I might just do just a basic raglan sweater, but fade it. I might do the, I'll tell you what I did fancy was I watched Bexy Norms, who has, what's her podcast called? She is doing the Summer Sorrel sweater. I'm looking for my YouTube. Bex Creates. BEKS Creates. She's so lovely. I'm missing my flockers. Actually, I'm going to see her this week because she's coming to stay on the park with her handsome young man. But I usually see her at Flock, and I'm missing my flockers. We had notification yesterday that the last show of the year that I normally go to, which is Stitch Fest Southwest, it's going to be in Newton Abbot this year, has been cancelled. So that's it. No yarn shows at all. It's so bereft. I've been bereft. I've not been with my tribe. So, anyway, let's get back to the niceties, shall we? So, yeah, so as I was saying, Bex is doing the Summer Sorrel. I think that's what it's called. So it's a short sleeved, and she's done hers as a fade. And it's beautiful. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll do that. So here we have. So this is Bambino. And it's like a peachy pink. It's really not showing very well, but it's more peach than it's showing. Peachy pink, like a ballad, like a. I'll tell you what it reminds me of, and I still berate my sister to this day, is when my sister got married in 89. No. Yeah, it might have been around then. Yeah. Well, like very late 80s or very early 90s. I'm sure it was in 1989 they got married. This was the colour of bridesmaid dress that she made me wear. I don't mind it, but when I'm bedecked in it from head to toe. Anyway. Peach it was. It was a very in colour then. So, but this is much more beautiful. I'll tell you. So that's Bambino, and then the next one is Sirocco. I had to get it on a mix of bases because that's. I know that dyers have been struggling to get yarn. So this is a BFL. That was a merino nylon. This is BFL, but it's so soft that you wouldn't. It's not going to be an issue. So that's Sirocco. So that's the second one in the fade, and then the third one is beautiful. Is Fool's Gold. BFL nylon, and then it will fade into this one, which is Hot Chocolate. It's like a real like minky. Have you a license for that minky? God, I haven't watched that film. It's a Pink Panther reference. I'm sure it's in Pink Panther. Yeah, I'm sure it is. It's got a really bad French accent. It says it's meant to say, have you got a license for that monkey? And it says, have you got a license for that minky? So it is. Oh God, I'll crack myself up. This is what lockdown has done to me. It's made me even more mental than I was before. So this is Hot Chocolate anyway, but it's like a minky brown. It's beautiful, very tonal. Like I say, he's very clever with his dyeing. I am in awe of his dyeing style. So I think those would make a lovely summer sorrel, or even a full sorrel with the long sleeves. I don't know. I'd have to look at yardage together in my big bazongas. So yeah, so it's a bit of a Ted knit show, isn't it? And I also got this skein of graphite from Ted to pair with. I used this yarn probably 3 or so years ago to make a Madewell sweater cardigan by Joji, and I didn't swatch. I made the wrong size. It didn't fit very well, just didn't look right, and it was like, so it literally sat on my desk for 3 years. I wore it once. It's got to be 3 years. And then I watched Tommy, who is Dynamite Trujillo, and her podcast is Squirrel Pie Productions, and she did like a short video on sweaters that she wasn't happy with, that she was gonna either frog or one she over dyed, one sleeves needed changing, so she just went through all her sweaters, and it was like, right, this is wrong with that one, I'm not happy with that, this doesn't fit very well. And rather than them just sitting there or donating them or giving them away to somebody, it was like, you know what, this yarn is beautiful, it deserves to be used, it deserves to be worn, it costs, a fair amount of money. So I frogged it. This was my Madewell cardigan, and actually it was quite cathartic. So this was the yarn that I was going to knit the boxy chevron out with, and I had a very pale green that I thought, oh, that'd be beautiful, but when I swatched, it didn't. And I had a darker green and like a bluey green, and neither of them, because it's such a beautiful yarn, it's got so many. So it's got like green speckles in it because it's named after Hermione's cat, Crookshanks. So it's by Nora George Yarns, and so it's got like these green speckles and like reddy speckles, and it's just beautiful. And so I've got this grey to go with it, and I am going to do the new Boylan Knitworks sweater that's just come out. Boylan, Caitlin Hunter has just brought out a new sweater that's part of her like what's the tenure, all them, the tenure, the balls, you know what I mean, there, that one. So it's got colour work in it. It's got Maritimo is the other one, and the Novelli. So it's called Misurina, Misurina. I'll put it at the bottom there. And she's done it hers in a very similar colour. So it's got colour work. In between the colour work, it's got a cable design running down, and then it's got some it's got some texture on the body as well. So I thought, right, so I saw Ted had this grey in his shop as well, so that's what that's going to be. So whether that'll be my next sweater, I don't know. Quite possibly, or I might do the fade. I don't know. Possibilities are endless. I really can't make decisions lately. It's like driving me bonkers. I don't know what to do with myself some days. So talking of Bex coming to stay, I had the lovely John and Claire, who are Mr. B's Yarn and Bird Street. They came to stay at end of July. They come to stay on the park for a few days, so I got to catch up with them. We sat outside socially distanced for a cup of tea one morning, and it was lovely, and they were so generous and kind and brought me some gifts. So this is a Happy Accidents game. It's called Jolie French Rose. So it's supposed to be Jolie Rose, I think. I'm sure Claire said that, but she put the French Earl Grey speckles on it by mistake. Look. So I was gifted a skein of that. It's on their Hiddleston 4-ply base, 75-25, 425 metres for 100 grams. So I don't know whether to make a hat or something gloriously beautiful out of that. And then I got a beautiful project bag with tweed on it. So it has 4 pockets. I don't know if Claire's got any of these coming to the shop. I think she said she did. And it's a drawstring. I like a drawstring because you don't get your yarn caught in it, do you? So their Etsy shop is birdstreetuk.etsy.com. Oh, sorry if that attacked the microphone. And then this beautiful this tag made me laugh. I made this, so you have to pretend to like it. I didn't need to pretend because it was beautiful. I got this beautiful stitch marker necklace that Claire is making. These I think are going in the shop again this week. So it has beautiful feather with a bead on it, these beautiful metallic beads. I've got a little flower and another one. So this has got that's like a rose gold colour. It's beautiful, and a little acorn and an oak leaf. Is it an oak leaf? Yeah, a little acorn and an oak leaf. And there's some progress keepers. There's 3 progress keepers and 2 stitch markers, and they're on like a split ring, so you can take them off. And they come on this beautiful leather cord, which Claire has very cleverly strung like this, so you can have it long or short. And I know there's, if you look on Claire's Instagram, I'll put her Instagram handle here. I know there's several that are several different designs, and they really are beautiful. So Claire's been keeping herself busy during lockdown as well. And mine came in this beautiful little handmade envelope. Yeah, so I was a very lucky girl, very lucky. Knitting friends really are the best friends, aren't they? I've never met such a generous, happy, lovely... Yeah, you get the odd one or two who are a bit doolally-tat, but on the whole, generally, knitting people are lovely, aren't they? Yeah. So that's it. That's all I've got to show. Show and tell is done. Oh, I love it. It's so pretty. I have got French Earl Grey to make a Novelli tea. Oh, maybe I'll make that. Yeah, maybe that'll be my next one. Is that everything? Yep, my table is empty. It's a tip. This desk, my work desk, I've just dumped loads of stuff on my work desk. I need a really good... I was looking around yesterday, making a mental list of things that I need to tidy and sort, and a list for the husband to do, like fix the bathroom tap that's dripping and sort the mouldy ceiling out in the bathroom where he's jammed up a vent that needs unjamming. Just general stuff like that, really. I think I've got over the... Lockdown hit me quite hard mentally when it first happened. It's taken me a couple of months, if not more, to get myself sorted and out of a... I suppose it's only natural that we, having mental health issues before, they're only going to be massively heightened, aren't they, during a lockdown situation. So I think it's understandable that, and I think we need to be kind to ourselves, don't we? Yeah, we do. With everything that's going on in the world, it's just a scary old place, isn't it? But we've got knitting and we've got beautiful yarns, haven't we? Oh, look at it all. I'm such a yarn pig. I'm such a yarn pig. Look at all my pretties. So I'm going to leave you with the pretties. I am now going to talk about what I will say my... Oh no, my yarn pretties are falling on the floor. Thank you for watching. I hope it hasn't been too erratic for you. I hope I've made you laugh. I hope I've made you go, ooh, that's pretty. And I hope I've brought a little bit of joy to your day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming back. I say it every time and I'll try not to be as long next time, but I like to have a meaty content. You know what I mean? And I haven't had that because I haven't been casting stuff on. I might, once that sweater's done, I think I'll need a little bit of a cast on party. I know why. I am doing a webinar. It's a posh word. It's a new word to our vocabulary since lockdown started. With the awesome Mr. Stephen West on the 22nd of August. About colour play, I think it is. Yeah. So I'm sure there's going to be quite a bit of West knits happening post. I'll tell you. Oh, I know what it was I was going to cast on next. If you don't follow this lady on Instagram, you are missing out on a whole lot of joy. She is so lovely. Her name is Dana. And she made the most amazing kangaroo rollover. I think is it a kangaroo rollover? Yes, kangaroo rollover. It's like a mild jumper, but it's got a big like kangaroo pouch pocket on the front. It's a Stephen West. And I saw her, she finished it, put an FO picture up the other day. I was like, holy moly, I need that in my life. It's been one that I've like really fancied, but I've just seen like so many that are like a bit wacky. But seeing hers done in all the greens. I'm not a green fan, so I think mine would end up like pinkies and purples because that's who I am. And I don't care. I like pink and I like purple. Purple. There you go. There you go, Bex and Claire, just for you. Purple. Is that not the most joyous photo? She has this cute little dog called Jellybean, and when she knits herself a sweater, she knits Jellybean a matching sweater. And these pictures just bring such joy. Look, she made Jellybean a painting bricks sweater to match hers. Isn't that so cute? I just love her posts. Absolutely adore her. Yeah. So I think after Mr. West's webinar, that may well be my next cast on. I can go stash diving and pick out lots of Marley. Woo. That's from Muppets Christmas Carol, which is the best Christmas film on this planet. And I will fight you if you don't agree with me. I have it on DVD and I watch it at least 5 times every Christmas. I watch it while I decorate my Christmas tree. I watch it while I wrap my Christmas presents. And I'll just watch it whenever. It's quite often on Sky Christmas movies, or, you know, and it's quite often on like terrestrial TV as well. And every time it's on, I'll watch it, even though I know it word for word. It is just the best Christmas film ever. I See Your Elf and I Raise You, Muppets Christmas Carol. Anyway, so the kangaroo rollover will be oh my god, I need to get some human contact other than the husband, because he's just as doolally tat as I am. Anyway, on that note, I will say goodbye. Thank you very much for watching. Before I ramble on even more, if you are interested in what I is selling, if I say it in proper dem, I is selling stuff in my Etsy shop. Stay tuned. I'm just gonna have a quick wee and refresh my drink, and I'll be back with what's going on in my shop. Okay, I'm back with the shop stuff. So, if you watched, I think I did them in Vlogmas. My very bad Vlogmases. But anyway, so if you watched them, you'll seen that I was making some lotion bars. I'm sure I made them in Vlogmas. If not, anyway, I made some all natural ingredients lotion bars. And wanted to sort of really, I just made them as gifts, and they weren't brilliant. The moulds I had weren't very good, but I just wanted to, I'm becoming more aware of what I'm putting on my body and in my body, and the impact that that's having on the environment, the world around me, that sort of thing. Obviously, we're all becoming very more aware. That was dumb. We're becoming much more aware of what we're doing to our planet. And that was one of the things of lockdown, was seeing how the planet started to repair itself once cars stopped, planes stopped, cruise liners stopped, all that sort of stuff. The difference in Venice was amazing, and they were having, you know, you could see the bottom of the water in the canals, and they were having dolphins come and things like that, and just by people not impacting on that environment. So, and the weather we had was absolutely glorious, and I'm convinced, might be a bit of a like conspiracy theory, but I am sort of convinced that it was because there were no planes in the sky. There was very little traffic on the roads because people weren't going anywhere. People weren't flying, and all of that impact, you know, the fumes is the wrong word, but you know what I mean, the carbon output on stuff like that, and you know how what we're doing to this planet is, it's not good, is it? So anyway, I've stopped buying like liquid soap in plastic, and we've gone back to bars of soap. I've been buying, and I think this is another thing that lockdown sort of brought home to me, was who's actually valuable in our society. And it's not your fat cat investment bankers, it's your local shopkeeper, it's your hospital workers, cleaners, porters, you know, people like that who our emergency services, if you can hear that siren going up the road, and our little independent businesses who have struggled with no income for, we did on the park. It was starting, if we hadn't have opened when we opened, it was going to become a real issue. And although we're a fairly, we're a sizable acreage park, we employ probably 14 people at the most. So that we would have impacted on those 14 people, who would then have impacted on 14 more, or whatever. So I've been so that was one thing, through lockdown. I've been trying to support local businesses, small businesses. I've been, like the soaps I've been buying, I've been hand makers, small crafting type businesses. So I sort of put my brain on and thought, right, this is the time. I need to be sensible about what I'm putting. I had a bit of a health scare and had to go to hospital for some scans and things like that, and it really brought home to me, I need to be, I'm not getting any younger. I'm a fat lady. I need to start looking after myself a bit better. So I'm looking at, I'll probably end up cutting all this out because it's just drivel. So I know my body doesn't react well with lactose or gluten, so I'm starting to gradually factor that into my diet, and trying to look at ways of reducing that or cutting it out. And with that, it's like, what am I putting on my body and in my body? So I upped my game with my lotion bars. So my Etsy shop is Country Bumpkin Create, because I ain't got enough letters to have Country Bumpkin Creates. So I bought some lovely moulds to have some, so they're lovely, like bees. So they're substantial. They're about 35 grams lotion bars, and they contain beeswax, cocoa butter, shea butter, almond oil, jojoba oil, vitamin E. This is a natural one, so it's got no scent in it, because I know that some people are sensitive to scent. But if I do add a scent, then it is a natural essential oil scent. I've got several scents listed in my shop, as well as the natural. And I also made some lip balms. So this is a citrus lip balm. They all come in these little travel tins. And the lip balms are coconut oil, shea butter, beeswax, and essential oil. So this is a citrus one. So this has lemon, orange, and lime in it. And I made some mint chocolate ones as well. You see the essential oils coming to the top on that one. So this has cocoa in it, cocoa powder in it, as well as all the other ingredients. And I'm just testing my nephew is testing a beard balm, can't say that, for me at the moment, to see how that goes as well, which again is all natural argan oil, and things like that. So that's the sort of natural beauty side of it. And then so that's one section. I have been starting to sort some stuff out, and I found some things that my sister and I used to do craft fairs, so I have some stuff that's left over from that. So these are some little Japanese knot bags, so you just pull the big handle through the little handle, and they're perfect for like a single skein project, like a sock project or something like that. So I have several of those in different materials. I've got DPN cozies, and I know we're not allowed to use the C word yet, are we? But I've got some Christmas stockings as well. So they're all, or everything listed. Everything I'm showing you here is all listed in the shop, and I'll put a link in the down bar for the shop. So when I was starting out with the English paper piecing, I thought to myself, I still have my Sizzix Big Shot machine from when I did card making. I have a substantial fabric stash, which is probably almost as much as my yarn stash. So I bought myself a hexagon cutter for the Big Shot, and I spent 3 days sorting and cutting material to list some English paper piecing things in my shop. So this is just one of the sets. So this is all greens, and like I say, they're all die cut, so they are all cut to be exactly the same size. I've got various sets. I've got like over 30 different sets in the shop. This one in particular, you get 6. There's 7 different designs, and you get 6 hexagons of each design. So there is enough to make 6 of those flowers. These are 2-inch hexagons to use with a 1.5-inch paper. Which again, I've got a 1.5-inch die, so the papers are all die cut as well. So do go and have a look if you are interested. I've tried to keep prices as reasonable as possible. Yeah, if you can support me, I would be very grateful. Every time I hear my little cha-ching, I'm like, oh, it's exciting, it's exciting. But yeah, the lotion bars have been very popular actually, which is really pleasing. I've got some to make this after. Once I finish this, I've got to make some more because my stocks are getting low. So yeah, so that's me. Oh, like I say, I'll leave a link below. Thank you for watching this shameless self-promotion. I didn't want to be one of those podcasts that it's all about selling your stuff, and that's not what I'm about. A podcast because I enjoy showing off what I've been knitting and yarn. So yeah, thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure as always, and I'll see you soon. Bye.